everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a really quick and quite concise brush collection video just because I love nosing into other people's brush and makeup collections and I thought I would show you guys mine. So I do actually have more brushes than this, I just don't use them. They're sort of back down underneath all the rest of my makeup. I don't really touch them, I don't really like them. These are the brushes that I use on a really regular basis, so I have to have them out. And they are my holy grail, lifesaver, lovely brushes. And I also thought, just because I've recently washed them so I can make myself look clean on the internet, I thought I'd show them to you now. So I will start with my face, foundation brushes, my base brushes we should call them, because that's what So I've got a Real Techniques brush in there, that's the Expert Face brush. It's amazing for my NARS Sheer Glow foundation. I actually bought this when I bought my NARS Sheer Glow foundation because I realised you had to have a buffing brush to work it in. And then I've got three buffing brushes. One is the EcoTools Custom Coverage Buffing Brush, one is the Zoeva Buffer Brush, and one is the Sigma Flat Kabuki brush. These are all pretty much similar. My favourite is the EcoTools one, not only because it's only like £5, but also just because it's so soft and it's vegan, cruelty-free. And the bristles, you can't even believe how soft the bristles are. And then the other two, I'd definitely say I prefer the Sigma one over the Zoeva one. I don't really get on with Zoeva brushes, but this is a nice foundation brush and it does its job. Then I've got my stippling brush by Sigma, the Duo Fibre F50 brush, and it's not really a brush I use too often. I don't really like the dewy effect that stippling brushes give, but it does get a fair little bit of use. I mean, I like it for when I'm going for a less coverage sort of makeup, because then I can just dab it on quite lightly, my freckles still come through, and it does make you look quite dewy, which isn't really what I want for autumn. It's definitely what I liked over spring and summer, so that's why it's in my current makeup brush collection. Next, I'm moving on to my powder brushes. So in here we've got my two setting powder foundation brushes, which is the Real Techniques powder brush. It's just this huge, very fluffy, very soft, lovely brush. And then I've also got the Sigma large powder brush. Again, they're very similar, they both do the same job. It's just usually I use one until it's so disgustingly dirty I can't use it anymore, and then I move on to the next one, and then when they're both so disgusting I can't use them anymore, I have to wash them both, and now they're both all clean. Then I've got my Duo Fibre face brush by Real Techniques, which was one of their, the ones with the white handles. I don't think you can't buy them separately, but they're really nice and they're very light and they make blending really, really easily. So I use this for sort of a light bronzer, and my blush goes really well with my blush. The next brush I've got is my Sigma large angled contour brush, which looks like that. It's great for hollowing out your cheekbones, and I also like to use it for blush and highlighter, but it just depends how I'm feeling on that particular day. But it's a really nice brush again. Sigma's brushes are so soft and they're my favourite brushes. I tried the Zoeva brushes and I got on with them for a bit, but I realised that they were no competition for Sigma, and Sigma is so much better. Next, I've got my Real Techniques setting brush, which I like to use for my NARS Albatross powder or my Illamasqua Heliopolis powder. So I just basically run it along my eye with a highlight, up my cheekbone, down my nose, on my forehead and on my cupid's bow. That's when I'm going for more of a full-on makeup look. I don't tend to use that on a day-to-day basis, but it's great for nights out and when you're, trying to get yourself on fleek and give yourself a bit more oomph. And then last in that little vase is my NARS Ita Kabuki brush. I got this off eBay and I'm not sure how 100% real it is, but it's basically just a long, thin, flat brush which you use in your cheekbone. I use this with my NARS Laguna bronzer and it makes you look really, chiseled, and it gives you like a really defined line under your cheekbone, so it does make you look a lot like great for contouring, my son. Next, I'm moving on to my eye brushes, which is going to take me forever because I've got quite a few, and I've got quite a few repeats of them. I've got a lot of very similar brushes because I'm very lazy, and a lot of the time when I'm walking through town I'd much rather just buy a new brush than wash the ones I've got at home because I am a tramp. So we'll go for my two favourites first. Those are my blending E25 brush by Sigma and my tapered blending E40 brush from Sigma. So they're two brushes like that. The little white one is slightly more rigid and it gives you slightly better colour payoff, but the big fluffy one is great for blending, and it doesn't pick up too much product, but when it does you can blend it out really nicely. It looks really smoky and it doesn't look sort of really blotchy. So those are my two brushes that I use the most. I would die without them probably. I don't even know how I'd get makeup onto my eyes if I didn't have these. I'm just grabbing random handfuls now. I'll do 3 at a time because we're never going to get through them otherwise. So I've got my 227 Soft Definer Vegan brush by Zoeva, which is that one, which is sort of similar to the little blending Sigma brush I just showed you, but that's quite fluffy and quite rigid. So you do get a lot of colour on that one. It blends quite nicely. It's not something I use every day. I find I'm a little bit more clumsy with that one, but there you go. Also got the Zoeva Vegan Petite Eye Blender, which is sort of like a little pencil brush. It's sort of little and smudgy, and I use that underneath my eye just to sort of blend out little feature colours, I'd call them. So if I'm doing like a brown smoky eye but it's got a little like flash of green underneath, that's what I'll use underneath my lash line, just to sort of smoke it out and blend it out. And then I've got my Sigma Small Angle E65 brush, which I use sometimes for filling in my eyebrows, sometimes for doing a winged liner with eyeshadow, but yeah, just a simple angled brush. What's this doing in here? Okay, I've just found my Real Techniques Duo Fibre Contour brush in the wrong pot, so I'm very upset. But this is my little geofibre contour brush. That's again one for your cheekbones, hollows it out a little bit and makes you look all contoured and amazing. Next I've got another little angled brush. That's by Zoeva and it's called a winged liner brush. I don't really tend to use this one, but it's great if I need it to have it out. It can be used for my eyebrows or a smoky winged liner. Then I've got my Sigma pencil brush, again similar to one you've already seen, but just a little smudgy brush. I use it underneath my lash line for smoky eyes. And then my Zoeva smudger brush. God knows what you do with this. It's not one I tend to pick up very often, but it's just a thin, flat, rounded brush, I guess, for underneath your eyes, for on top of your eyes, I don't know. Then we've got my Sigma medium angled shading brush, which is sort of like a smaller version of that big brush I've got for my cheekbones. I like this one. I do. It packs on a lot of colour and it's very fluffy and it's very soft, and you know what you're doing with it. It's a lot easier to control than some of the other eyeshadow brushes I've got. Then I've got a little travel size version of my big blending brush. This one's slightly dirtier, but they're the same. I've got a little travel size version of it. And then I've got my contour shader by Zoeva, which is actually the evil twin of this one by Sigma. So a lot of my brushes are very repetitive, but I like having 2 of each just in case, I lose one, I break one, one's disgustingly dirty. And then I've got my EcoTools concealer brush. Yeah, this is for concealer, but I don't use it for concealer because I think it's such a great little brush. I think it's so packed with bristles and really, really soft, again, because it's vegan, it's EcoTools, and they've got the most amazing brushes. I like to use this to pack on a base of eyeshadow onto my eyelid. So if I choose a colour that's just going all over my lid, I will put this in my product. I will put this on my eyelid, and it just gives a really great colour payoff, and your whole eyelid is just really nicely packed with colour, and again, really soft and really good. Then we've got my eye shading E55 brush. Again, it's similar to the one I just mentioned, where I like to use this to put a load of colour all over my eyelid, which is like my base colour, and then I go to work on the crease and the highlighting and blah blah blah. But yeah, that's just a nifty little brush by Sigma. Again, really soft. Sigma's the best. And then my final brush in my collection is my Duo Fibre eye brush, which is another one of that Real Techniques collection with the white handles. I really like this one actually. It's really, I think it's one of the unsung heroes on the blogosphere. I really, really like this eyeshadow brush. I think it's probably one of the best I own, apart from my 2 favourites. This is probably my 3rd favourite. It's that Duo Fibre sort of tip. You're not getting too much product, but you're blending it really, really well. Yeah, I think it's a brilliant brush to have in your collection if you're all about smoky eyes and things, because it's absolutely perfect for doing that kind of thing. So those are my makeup brushes, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed nosing around my little makeup collection, and I hope I maybe inspired you to have a little look on the Sigma website because they're absolutely amazing, and they're not even paying me to say this. Like, I just love them and I'm a fangirl over Sigma, and when I've got enough money I'm totally going to buy myself another set. Now I've got to go to uni now, so I'm going to make this really short and snappy. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or my blog. My links are down in either that corner or that corner, I'm not sure. And I post really regularly on my blog, and I tweet about things and I put little pictures up there, and my Instagram is pretty much just pictures of me and my boyfriend, so if you can stomach that, I'd say give me a little follow. And always, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments or over on my blog and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching. I've missed filming so much. I'm so happy to be back into it, and I will see you in the next video.